Welcome back to Matrix Uploaded. We're looking at poetry, and in this segment, we're going to look at the sonnet On His Blindness by John Milton. When I consider how my light is spent ere half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent to serve there with my Maker and present my true account, lest he returning chide. Doth God exact day labour, light denied, I fondly ask? But patience to prevent that murmur soon replies. God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. Who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. His state is kingly, thousands at his bidding speed, and post o'er land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. We said that we start with finding out about the poet, the time that the poem was written, and the structure of the poem. When we look at John Milton, we realize that this is a poem that reflects something about his life. Milton went blind somewhere around 1652. And we know that he is coping with that in this poem. When we look at this poem, it's a sonnet. We look at the rhyme scheme. We have spent and bent and wide and hide and present and prevent and chide and denied. Then we have need and speed, we have best and rest, and we have state and wait. So we have ABBA, ABBA, which gives us an octave, 8 lines. Then we have CDE, CDE, which gives us a sestet, 6 lines. What I want you to notice, though, is that the break is not quite at the end of the 8th line. It's here, in the middle of the 8th line. It's marked by that full stop there and the but. So what do we have in the octave, in the first 8 lines? We have a sense of the speaker's frustration. He is going blind and he has a problem. I'm going to come back to that later. And in the last 6 lines, we have a solution to that problem. So what is the problem? In the Bible, Jesus told a story about 3 servants. 2 servants took the money that their master gave them and increased it. The 3rd servant buried the money in the ground and then gave it back to the master exactly as he had been given it. That money is called a talent. But today we don't talk about a talent as a silver coin. We talk about a talent meaning a skill, something that God has given you, a gift from God, which is what it has become as a result of this story. Now, most people interpret the story meaning that God gives you something that you can do, a special gift. And if you do not use that special gift, God will be angry with you. So let us have a look at the problem. What is Milton's problem? He is a writer. To write, he needs eyesight. But God has allowed him to go blind. So he is afraid that when God calls him at the end of his life and says, "What did you do with the talent that I gave you, the talent to write?" Milton will have to answer, "I did nothing with it because I couldn't write." And then God will be angry with him. Let's just look at the first 8 lines. He says his light, his eyesight is spent. It's over. He says that the world is now dark and wide for him. He says that he has one talent, but it is useless to him. He wants to serve God, my Maker, God, with his talent, but he can't. He wants to present an account to God at the end of his life, in case God chides him, scolds him, is angry with him, the way that the master coming back was angry with the servant. So the end of this part of the sonnet is with this question: does God expect me to use my eyesight to write and then doesn't give me eyesight? But he says that this is a foolish question, that God would be unfair. And the solution that is given in the last 6 lines of the sonnet is summed up in the last line of the poem. God does not actually need us to actively to serve him. We can serve God by standing and waiting. And what does Milton mean by that? He means by being patient, suffering what happens to us, and continuing to love God, to be a faithful servant. And that theme is encapsulated in the frustration of the octave and the solution of the sestet. In the next segment, we'll be looking at another sonnet.